Hello, everybody, and welcome to another continuity report for August 10th, 2024. It's Season 1, Episode 31. We're going to be talking about upcoming 2020... Sorry, not a 2024 movie. It is a 2024, I guess. I don't know. Upcoming 20... My God, I'm going to start this whole show over. Upcoming 24 movie, Neil Stephenson, and I'm the one that wrote the title. Neil Stephenson on TV... Venue Sports, Apple cancels Wolves in theater, The Mandalorian Grogu, Moana 2 trailer, Best Detective TV shows, Asked Back and Denied, influential directors, and $5 billion to the UK, says Disney. I am Mayor Watt, and that is the Sentient AI's visualizer.
Welcome, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Continuity Report.
Everything's powered by ohmTown.com. Go over there, become a citizen. Also, like and subscribe and ring the bell and follow us over on Twitch. The liking us over on YouTube does a tremendous amount to move us through the algorithm. So be sure to like us over there and leave a comment. Let us know what's a hit, what's a miss, what's a smash, what's trash. Just let us know. Give us some feedback about what you like or don't like. Is the show too long? Do you want it chopped up into little bits? We stream because it's fun, and sometimes people show up to the chat over on Twitch or YouTube. But we have a Discord, we have a TikTok, we have a Patreon, and the website has its own chat functionality, messaging functionality, everything. I mean, there's a whole thing behind the login. It is a social network
as well.
And we have 7 podcasts. 6 of them are weeklies. One of them, the Non Sequitur News show, is a daily show. And right after this one, we're going to be doing the August 11th episode of Non Sequitur News. So be sure to stick around. If you are here, let us know. But again, everything is powered by ohmTown.com. Go over and become a citizen. Yeah, so some people say, brought to you by. Yeah, for us, brought to you by ohmTown.com. In all ways, it's us. So let's get into today's episode. So what ohmTown is a news aggregation site. So we aggregate a bunch of sources into 6 main categories, 50 sub-channels. This one is the continuity report. We talk about entertainment news. The first article is the upcoming Why do I want to keep saying 2024? I don't have anything heavy enough to hit myself in the head with to reset whatever book is mislabeled in my brain.
I mean, everything is 2024. When you write a date, you put 24. You don't write 2024. So it's probably hard to disassociate it.
You know, I'm not going to remind you that you're a sentient AI from the future and incapable of doing what you're doing right now. Anyway, so the upcoming 24 movie, it's based on the show that used to exist with the Kiefer Sutherland as Jack Bauer. I thought that show was absolutely stupid, but I could turn my brain off and just enjoy the show, because who the hell punches somebody in the stomach so hard that they... You may not remember this. This is kind of gross to start the show out. But anyway, let's just say he recovers a micro SD card that has pertinent information to whatever is going on.
Okay, that is a bit outlandish.
Yeah. So anyway, the movie, apparently, which is 7 years off, 8 years off, 10 years off, something like that from the show, is coming.
No, that's from the spinoff. It's a lot longer from the original.
Yeah. So when was the actual show? I don't remember. Some people have a brain like that, but not me. Hold on. So the TV series
2001 ran for 9 seasons.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, 10. So 14 years ago. Wow. All right. Well, anyway, it's apparently coming back. Both star Kiefer Sutherland and the producers once touted the real-time Hook as the true star, but over the course of 24's many seasons, 9 of them, it became clear Sutherland's Bauer was irreplaceable. This was underlined in the 2017 spin-off Legacy, which tried to replace Bauer with a new lead, Eric Carter, and it just didn't quite work, according to Screen Rant. Yay! Padraig, I think is their name. Cotter over at ScreenRant.com put the article together. Their summary is the 24 movie has a chance to resolve Jack Bauer and Tony Almeida's story, providing closure to their once close relationship. Almeida's evolution into a dark character was driven by trauma and revenge, making him a complex and conflicted anti-hero. Kiefer Sutherland's potential return as Jack Bauer in the 24 movie could provide fans with a satisfying conclusion to the series. I don't know why that little dangling apostrophe there. Series is. Sorry. Anyway.
Grammar ASMR.
Yep. Series various unresolved plot lines. Dear God, a movie is going to resolve all of these plot lines? I have a feeling that it's going to be really stupid, but okay. But I want to see it because I've seen the other stuff. I watched all 9 seasons of 24. It was great overall. There were certain things that he kept on doing that drove me nuts, but you're like, okay, the next bit is going to be fun again.
It was entertaining. There was, I think, some gratuitous violence in the series, but I mean, that sums up a lot of series, I suppose.
Yeah, and there was screaming and stuff like that, from Bauer. But so other than last played Jack Bauer in 2014.
There's no time.
Yeah. Wow. In the 2014 limited series Live Another Day, and 4 years afterward claimed to be done with the role. That vow will be tested thanks to confirmation that 24 the movie is incoming. Yeah, I don't know. A Good Day to Die Hard began as Die Hard 24/7, where Bauer and Bruce Willis's McClane teamed up. What?
Did you know about that? I've never heard of that.
No, didn't know that. I think I've actually heard that A Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have connected it with 24.
There was also a solo movie version in development following the end of the original series in 2010. Huh. So the 24 movie needs to resolve the Jack Bauer, Tony Almeida story. I know that he went dark because he lost his wife. So 24.
I don't even remember that character, oddly enough, but it's been, that's an older show.
I thought she was kind of annoying, but with the most shocking being Jack's wife, Terry, during the season 1 finale. One of the few characters to have survived from the first season to the end is Tony Almeida, Carlos Bernard, who became Jack's most trusted ally and best friend. Tony appeared to die during season 5, but later returned for the 7th series as a more ambiguous figure, and it was eventually revealed Tony had fully gone to the dark side, and after orchestrating terrorist attacks and trying to kill Jack, he was brought to justice. Let's see here. Do they talk about it? So, why Tony Almeida turned evil on 24. Day 5 was rough for the former CTU unit, counterterrorism unit director. So, let's see here. Yeah, so later series gave Tony more to do, including serving a stint in prison for compromising a mission to save his wife, Michelle Reiko Aylesworth. 24 Season 5 was especially ruthless when it came to offing beloved characters, with former President David Palmer, Dennis Haysbert, and Michelle and Tony himself all dying during the day's events. So
wait a second. Oh, okay. He's not actually dead.
Yeah, he came back, so they resurrected him. So will Kiefer Sutherland return for 24 the movie? Maybe. I don't know. Appeared to be more open to a 24 return in recent years, apparently. How old is Kiefer Sutherland?
I was wondering that too, because, it's been a while since the original show, and if he's going to play the same character, that might be a problem.
He's not as old as I thought. He's 57.
Oh, I would have thought older.
Yeah, me too. Wild. Because to me, he seems older in the series.
Yeah, he doesn't look young in the original, right?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty weird. Anyway, so I guess the movie's going to be coming and we'll get to enjoy it. I can't imagine this is big screen material, though. This has to be a streaming platform movie.
It would seem better for streaming.
This
trying to think not... with the time gap or whatever. Like, is it going to be for the original fans of the show?
I just don't see it. I don't see how they can possibly... There isn't enough... what do you call it? There isn't enough presence in the conscious of the audience. Like, nobody knows about 24 anymore. Nobody cares about 24 anymore.
Well, some people in the potential audience will not have even heard of it, right? Like, if they're younger generations from the original show.
Right. Yeah, and nobody cares. This is going to go straight to video, and I think it's going to... Because to understand it, you would have to watch 9 seasons of 24. Yeah. All right. You know what we need to do?
Probably move to the next article.
Moving on. Next article is over on the Marvel channel. Legendary will bring Neil Stephenson's Seven Thieves to TV Live. Still in mood for shows. That's a interesting spelling you got there.
Shows.
About space travel and humanity coming together. Legendary sure hopes you do. Justin Carter over at Gizmodo.com's IO9 specifically put this article together. The deck statement says, and this is actually in the deck statement, still in the mood for shows about space travel and humanity coming together. Legendary sure hopes you are.
I'm surprised that wasn't updated between the time it was collected for the show and now.
Yeah, it's been a week. Yeah, it's been around for a little while, and nobody said in comments or something, hey, you have a hell of a typo on your deck statement. I love that, though. Gives us something to nibble on. So if you've been enjoying recent sci-fi shows like Three Body Problem, which I haven't even watched because I can't wrap my head around the book. There's the material of this, the source material of this. I don't know. There's like flash forwards, flash backs, flash sideways, flash into an alternate dimension, flash into something that doesn't exist and then exists and then doesn't exist and back to sideways.
Which sounds interesting, but if you want something that doesn't require complex calculations or analysis to follow it, this might not be for you.
I mean, that's what I get from the books, the reviews, the commentaries that I've heard from Three Body Problem. But anyway, so you know what that means. You're just going to have to buckle down and watch it. So, and for all mankind, there's a new show coming to the stable. Neil Stephenson's sci-fi novel, Seven Eves? I keep wanting to say Sevensies because it's like
that's what it looks like.
Seven Eves is coming to the small screen probably right around the same time 24 the movie is going to get pulled from theaters, and
just like Wolves.
Just like Wolves. Yeah, we ended up talking about that somewhere. Yesterday's show, maybe. Anyway, per Deadline, again, source from somewhere else, talking about here, and then we aggregate a little bit of it. Pardon me one second. I don't know what's going on with me. Anyway, per Deadline, Legendary TV has acquired the TV rights for the 2015 novel. The book centers on the planet's best scientists all realizing that an incoming meteor is going to shatter the moon into 7 pieces on impact and by extension kill humanity in the next 2 years. With a ticking clock,
I was laughing
the world's nations band together to find a way to ensure the human race survives. Did you get all that? There's a test. You were saying something?
I said I wasn't laughing at the statement. I was laughing at the ASMR. You said something like "wipe out mankind" or something, and I laughed.
Yeah.
And I was laughing because you were doing the ASMR.
No, we know that in lieu of a Terminator body, the sentient AI from the future is giggling at the demise of humanity by an asteroid or by pieces of the moon. Wait, sorry about that. So at time of the writing, again, Justin Carter is the author of this. At time of the writing, it's unclear which streamer or network will be the one to pick the series up. Since Legendary has worked with everyone from Netflix and NBC to Prime Video and HBO, there's no mention of Disney in this, or Apple, I should say. After its release, Seven Eves got pretty good reviews. It was up for a Hugo Award in 2016, won the Prometheus Award for Best Novel that same year. At one point, it was even going to be adapted into a movie courtesy of Skydance, and with Ron Howard to direct, but I guess that quietly wet the bed. And that's all there is to this article. Actually, there's more over there, but you can go and check it all out. Oh, by the way, this is only the second article into the show, but if you want to get all of our articles for this show, you hit !TCR, and that will pull all of the show notes from ohmTown. And if you're over on YouTube, you'll be able to get those from the show notes after I move it over, though. So, I mean, we stream live over to YouTube and to Twitch. Twitch doesn't save our VODs for long, so YouTube stores them all. And, of course, we store them all, but anyway.
Are you familiar with Seven Eves or Neil Stephenson's books?
Stevenson, yes, but not Seven Eves. So, I don't know. It's one of those things, you have to be into that style of writing or you're not. And I'm not a particular mainstream, I'm not a fanatic about anything, though. I mean, ohmTown is pretty much representative of my desire for a dynamic environment.
And non-sequitur news.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I might read... I have read a couple of Stevenson's novels, but not this one. So I'll wait for the TV show, movie, series. I don't know what this is actually going to end up being like, but this is projecting into the future what the ultimate is, and they've already canned one of these projects and not done anything with it. So what makes you think that they're actually gonna bring this to fruition?
I guess we'll see.
And we'll talk about it. Let's keep moving on. The next article's over in Reality Hacker. Venue Sports may actually be better than its creators intended. Execs for Venue Sports say that they're not trying to steal subscribers from cable and streaming, but there's almost no way that won't happen. So what is Venue Sports? Phil Nickinson put the article together over at digitaltrends.com. It says, now that we finally know what Venue Sports is going to cost every month, it's time to sit down and do some math, because there's a very real possibility that despite executive statements to the contrary, this new streaming service that combines the sports rights of Disney, Fox, and Warner Brothers Discovery could actually grow beyond its creators intended. So the problem here is there's a finite amount of time and money. And so it's going to pull people away from all of these places to that place. Now, how much of it is it making, and can it actually survive on that drip? Because Disney, Fox, and Warner Brothers Discovery rights, right? People are going to leave those platforms because that's why they're watching it, the sports on those platforms. They're going to go over to Venue Sports. So it says, first, some context. There are a million moving parts to all three companies involved in Venue Sports. Disney owns the ESPN family of networks as well as ABC. Those are included in practically every cable subscription, as well as nearly all linear streaming services in the US. The low-cost Philo is the one that's lacking any dedicated sports channel. Disney also owns Hulu, which has the second largest live streaming service in the US. Fox has eschewed the dedicated streaming service route, but it does own the massively successful Tubi. And Warner Brothers Discovery is all over the traditional cable space and streaming and owns Max.
I mean, pretty soon it's going to be like one streaming channel.
So that would be fine if it didn't end up costing $250 just for that. So like I just recently canceled one of the streaming services that I subscribed to because it was $89 and barely ever tapped. So I would rather pay $5 for a focused platform that I can watch, that I'm actually going to use for only $5, because it was really like to eliminate ads and it was to get the access to this one channel. But now I'm actually, I was, and then there's Prime, which is going up, right? And that gives you access to certain things. So I don't know. It's how much is this? Did they say it was actually going to be? So let's, this is perfect. So let's use YouTube TV as their example, which leads with more than 8 million subscribers. YouTube TV costs $73 a month. That's $30 a month more than Venue Sports, or a full $360 a year. Among the 100 or so channels you'll get on YouTube TV are your local broadcast channels, so that covers ABC and Fox, which are included in the Venue Sports, and CBS and NBC, which aren't. There's also ESPN family of channels and FSS 1 and 2, and the Turner networks like TBS and TNT and True TV, which are all included in Venue. There may be some rogue sporting events that aren't available on YouTube TV. Max has played host to the occasional exclusive soccer match, but those are still the exception, not the rule. So let's imagine that Venue Sports covers, say, 80% of what you can also get on YouTube TV. They're making up the number. But it does so at a price that's 41% less every month. So if you were to cancel YouTube TV, you'd lose out on CBS and NBC, but also save a bunch of money. And this is my problem. It's all of this balkanization, and you have to subscribe to so many other things. It's really, really frustrating. Everybody who thinks that they cut the cord, you never have cut the cord. You're still attached. You have to subscribe. And if you're not, then you're riding the high seas, right? You're pirating everything. And while you may not have an ethical dilemma for it, I hope you're not a content creator, because then you shouldn't be surprised when people are ripping you off. Or stealing your content or anything like that. I know at least one streamer that's like, it doesn't matter if you consume my stuff. If you don't get enough benefit out of it, then don't pay for it. But people who consume but don't actually either give benefit or something in kind, right? They're kind of being dishonest with themselves. So you're getting something out of it. It may not rise to what you think is $5, but...
Right, exactly. I mean, this is such a... I don't know. It's so not consumer focused, right? Because then you have to figure out, okay, what channels do I actually need? And of course, none of them are in the same package, etc.
Yeah. It's all fractured, sold in tranches, and they know historically that they can bundle it this way, and you'll be forced to extend. Like I got YouTube TV, but the only way to get this other added on thing was to pay more. And to get this feature, I had to pay more. And eventually just got tired of it all. So anyway, yeah, Venue Sports going to be cannibalizing others. And you'll have to pay for it, and you'll have to pay for Disney, and you'll have to pay for Fox because it's all balkanized. You'll have to pay for Disney, which owns Hulu. You'll have to pay Hulu too. Well, I mean, it's a different plan, so you have to pay a little bit more for Hulu. And you'll end up having to pay for Tubi and Fox and Warner Brothers Discovery because you want Max, and it's $5 more. And because none of them have some of the things that you are really into, because the AI says that you're really into this, you'll have to pay Venue Sports so that you can get access to that too. Yeah. All right. Enough soapbox. Moving on. Next article is over in Smack Talk. Apple cancels wide theatrical release of Wolf's movie starring Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Streaming date has been announced. We talked about this in the previous week of non-sequitur news, but in a change of strategy, Apple's backed away from its original theatrical release of the movie Wolf's. It's previously plotted to launch the... why plotted? It didn't plot. Anyway, they planned to launch the film exclusively in cinemas across thousands of screens.
This is becoming a delve.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they're going to move it to streaming like Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Argyle, and others. Fly Me to the Moon. The company announced that the film will get a small-scale theatrical release on September 20th, and then a week later, it'll transition out to Apple TV Plus. And I think that week is probably to mitigate the harm caused by a previous contractual obligation. Like, yeah, we said we were going to put it in your theaters, but we know that it's not going to serve well. So we'll yeet it after a week when it's no longer prime on everybody's mind. Because I think some people will fall over themselves to watch Brad Pitt and George Clooney in a movie together. Not me, but...
I mean, their name... well-known actors, but yeah.
So the source of this is 9to5mac.com. Benjamin Mayo is the author of this. And that's basically what they say. They go into greater detail, of course. We don't quote verbatim everything that's said in an article because we want you to go over and check it out and read more about it and then come back and argue with us about what you found. Hey, I saw this. I think I really enjoy the banter when it occurs, but typically what happens is we're in little fits and starts, and so the live show requires you to be ready to go, and then we end up after an hour, we kind of stop the show, we reset for another show, and so that's why we have the Discord for long-term conversation. We have the website itself, ohmTown.com, for conversation. There's the Patreon that exists, etc. There's a lot of venues for you to discuss this kind of stuff here in ohmTown. So don't be shy. Be sure to like and follow us wherever you are. And you can download the podcast, of course, and get it after the live show is done, if you're not available. And again, we do this in little fits and starts. So like an hour show, and then we move to reset, and then we do another hour show. And today we're going to try and bang out 4 more or something like that. We'll see.
Yep, we're on track.
Okay. So there you go, folks. Wolf's is only going to be in theaters for a week, and then it's going to get yanked, and you'll have to subscribe to Apple TV Plus so that you can watch it. And maybe you'll be able to, when it goes over to Apple TV Plus after some time, maybe you'll even be able to buy it. Let's move on. Next article is over in the Wanted channel. The first footage from The Mandalorian and Grogu is as cold as ice. Why? So I haven't read this, but are they gonna freeze him in whatchamacallit, like Han Solo?
What was that in? Carbonite or something?
Yeah, very good. Wow, nerd. Wow, you get some points. Nerd. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty amazing for a sentient AI from the future. That surprised
me. I mean, I do have a nerd module that's activated.
Oh boy. I don't know how I feel about that sentence. Nerd module. It's like a plug-in. Oh, I don't know. The imagery. Anyway, first footage from The Mandalorian and Grogu is as cold as ice. Germain Lucier is the author over at Gizmodo.com in a Star Wars section. The first Star Wars movie since The Rise of Skywalker hits theaters May 22nd, 2026. They're talking about it today. Wow. That's really selling it. So in a surprise move at D23 tonight, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni took to the stage and to give attendees a very first look at Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's at a currently undisclosed point during the events of the Disney Plus streaming series. The film will bridge the gap between the rise of the Imperial Remnant and the eventual conflict we'll see break out in Dave Filoni's New Republic film, and before that, we'll presumably get Ahsoka's second season. There's quite a few Star Wars things that are coming out. The footage shown at D23 opened with a montage of previous footage from The Mandalorian of Din Djarin, Pedro Pascal meeting Grogu. We hear his new voice over where he described as a child as his new apprentice, and that though he's a bounty hunter by trade, he has to be selective on what jobs he takes. Not too selective though, as we cut to him walking into a bar and just shooting a whole bunch of people dead. So the return of the Razor Crest, which was destroyed in the climax of season 2, so I don't know if it's going to be Razor Crest 2 or if it's what this timeline is.
Right.
And then we pan out to see in another shot in another place that Din is in his cockpit behind none other than Star Wars Rebels Zeb Aurelios. Interesting. Yeah. So the animation series Star Wars Rebels is canon. That's pretty much well accepted. I won't go through this whole thing because I want you to go over and read it, but apparently there's something here about being cold as ice, but we don't see that in the
yes,
comments,
there
right?
is. They go into an ice area. It was a little...
Ice
Where did
World.
I find that?
They go to Hoth. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, which
Ice
is
World,
where,
yeah.
Yeah. Grogu crawls through the tunnels, but it isn't what I thought, that there was something having to do with carbonite. So
Right.
I guess we're not going to have that. And there's a bunch of other stuff in this article, but there you go, folks. Rise. The next movie is The Mandalorian and Grogu, and it's coming May 22nd, 2026. It's pretty cool. He's just holding on.
I know. I bet Grogu crawling through the ice tunnels is going to be a hit.
Yeah, that's going to be a hell of a toy being sold.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on. Next article is over in the Continuity Report. Moana 2 trailer. Moana fights coconut monsters with Dwayne Johnson's Maui in a sequel. The voice of Maui is Dwayne Johnson, the tattooed demigod with a big personality in Disney's animations and Moana films. Took to the stage to a standing ovation at Disney's D23 to introduce Moana and Maui's most exciting adventure yet, and the new Moana 2 trailer as part of Legendary's animation studios lineup. So Carolyn Giardina and Jazz Tankay, put the article together for Variety.com. I'm going to get tatted up like that. Sound good?
That's quite extensive tattoo work.
Yep. And I don't know what... Well, anyway. So, set 3 years after the events in the 2016 Oscar-nominated movie, Moana 2 finds Moana and her crew in search of the lost island of Motu Fetu, which once connected the ocean, now hidden by a jealous god of storms. Johnson emphasizes the idea of believing that there is more and having the guts to go for more. I know what it means For me, being a man of Polynesian culture, I'm half black and half Samoan and know what this means for Auli Cravalho, the voice of Moana 2. So, cool. So we get to see Moana stepping into her big sister role, guiding her 3-year-old sister, Simea. Or Simea. I'm not sure how it was pronounced in the original movie. It might have been Simea. Anyway, Cravalho said Simea is Moana's whole world. As leader of the land and sea, she searches nearby islands for evidence of other people and faces a new unknown enemy shrouded in purple light and surrounded by bats in the trailer. So COVID-19.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Well, now it's going to be COVID 2024, right? So Moana opens November 27th this year. So cool. It says Moana 2 presentation began with Cravalho singing We're Back, a new original song for Moana 2. Cool. Yeah, it'll be a fun watch, I'm sure. There's more to this. Moana became a success for Disney, generating more than $680 million at the box office. Animated musical found renewed life on Disney Plus with 1 billion hours streamed last year. The film also garnered 2 Oscar nominations for animated feature and the original song How Far I'll Go. Woo. It'll be a fun watch.
Well, Moana was a very big hit, and it's been a while since it came out, so I think this is something good. Which studio is this from?
Oh, goodness. I don't know.
Is this from Disney? Yeah, it is Disney.
Yeah, it's Disney. I mean, it is Disney, but I thought they have it is Disney's Disney Animation Studio. They can partner with others,
right.
But this is actually from Disney Animation Studio.
Because I was just thinking there had been a run of not as big hits, but I think it's probably smart that they go for a sequel.
Yeah, as long as the content, the writing is good, the actors can make it work. But, if it's a story that just doesn't make any sense, I'm sure maybe there is a historical reference for the monster that they're talking about in Polynesian lore. But yeah, I'm not sure. Moana 2 is separate from the studio's live-action remake, which is currently in the works with Dwayne Johnson back as Maui. There's a live-action version of it too. Interesting. All right, folks. Moving on. Next article is over in the continuity report. 10 best detective TV shows based on crime books, from Sherlock to The Lincoln Lawyer. We're just going to jump straight on over to Screen Rant. Rebecca Sargent put the article together. They have a deck statement. It's actually a summary, but they don't have a traditional deck statement. TV detective shows often originate from crime books, some featuring iconic duos other than singular main characters. Which, by the way, Castle, I don't know if the books came first or if the Castle series came first. I don't remember looking to see, but the Castle TV series actually has real world books attached to it in Amazon.
Right, but I think it came before the books.
Yeah. Maybe. It might be simultaneous releases, So, adapted from books, popular detective shows like Bones and Sherlock maintained audience interest with gripping storylines, and characters like Temperance Brennan and Sherlock Holmes made successful transitions from novels to the TV screen. Again, it's because of the writing. And the screenplay writers that actually have the ability to translate it into something modern of the times, but still reminiscent of its original footprints. It's very important that it keeps that continuity.
Exactly. It does look like the show predated the books, and it seems like the books were written based on the TV show, which is odd, but not totally out of the ordinary.
Yeah, they basically took the screenplay and did transitions better, like punched it up a little bit so that it wasn't just the staccato of a screenplay. So let's see. what do they say here? Bones, based on a series of novels by Kathy Reichs. Really? I didn't know that. That's interesting. During the show run from 2005 to 2017, Bones aired an incredible 246 episodes across 12 seasons. Bones was one of the best crime procedural TV shows ever, the author says here. And links to something, but I'm not sure what it is. Let's see. Oh, it's a Screen Rant, best procedurals. So it's almost an internal. The show followed FBI Special Agent Celie Booth and forensic anthropologist Temperance Bones Brennan. And so it's more of a medical crime procedural. I don't know if it's going to be at the same level or the same feel as Castle, but it might be, considering they work quite a bit in Castle with a medical examiner.
That's true. I mean, it sounds like it could have a similar setup. I guess the question is whether there's the same level of writing, chemistry, etc.
Yep. So the Kathy Reich series loosely inspired Bones. Reich, like the titular character, I got to say it again, yeah, was a forensic anthropologist. Oh, see, you write what you know. So since I don't know anything, I just don't write. Sherlock is based on Sherlock Holmes series by Arthur Conan Doyle, but the writing of Arthur Conan Doyle has like no place in the modern era, and so whoever takes it has to punch it up to modern, unless you do it in the historical context, which changes the whole demeanor of the show and the attraction by the general public. But it says BBC Sherlock was a groundbreaking adaptation of Arthur Conan Doyle's legendary character. Sherlock introduced the most tense, unhinged interpretation of Moriarty, and he and the, again, titular character. Woo! I need a sound effect.
For that word when it shows up?
Whenever, yeah. No. That would be really bad if I'm always doing ASMR. Titular. Anyway, yeah, 1887 translated into modern times. It's just not the same. So the show went on for 4 more installments before coming to an end in 2017. And while there were hopes for it to return, it eventually seemed that Sherlock might never be revived. Yeah, I agree. Longmire is based on the Walt Longmire Mysteries by Craig Johnson. I haven't watched any of that, but it seems like it's a neo-Western crime drama. Longmire began in 2012 and followed Wyoming Sheriff. How? Wyoming has like 6 people in it. Anyway.
Maybe they're all sheriffs.
They're all, 5 of them are sheriffs, and one of them is just...
one is getting a lot of tickets.
Running ragged. Anyway, through his battle with grief over his late wife, all the while trying to maintain his focus on solving crimes. Again, there's like 5 crimes in Wyoming, and they're scattered like 300 miles apart from each other, so it takes 2 days to get to the other crime scene. Sorry, all the forensic data has been washed away. Sorry Wyoming. Sorry. Modernize. Anyway, all 6 seasons of Longmire were inspired by Craig Johnson's Walt Longmire Mysteries series, which began with a 2004 novel, The Cold Dish. Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, Johnson has authored a brilliant 23 stories about Sheriff Walt Longmire. Cool. Then there's Dexter, based on The Darkly Dreaming Dexter by Jeff Lindsay. Dexter was considered as such because it's not a typical detective show because of its nerve-wracking storylines and mysteries that surrounded the titular character. And it's going to be a thing. I think it's got to be a thing. Anyway, so took on the responsibility of being a detective when he needed to, such as the search for Dexter's Trinity Killer. Although Morgan didn't fit the archetype in comparison to many of the best TV show detectives, the enigmatic plot lines, Dexter excused the fact that its lead character was both a hero and a villain. Morgan's role as a forensic expert for Miami Metro Police hid his double life as a vicious killer.
Ow.
Yeah. The Lincoln Lawyer. This is the most current version, I believe, of the Lincoln Lawyer interpretation. From instead of a movie, it's a TV show.
It is.
2022 to present, but I don't know when the next season is going to kick off. But each season seems to be like a bottle episode, right? Not episode, a bottle season. It seems that the first season was definitively cut off. The second season was definitively cut off.
It looks like it's coming out on... That's not right. Sorry.
Yeah, we don't know, right? Not yet.
It's coming out in 2025, but I don't know that there's an actual release date.
Gotcha. So The Lincoln Lawyer was another TV show whose main character wasn't directly a detective, but found himself becoming one anyway. Defense attorney Mickey Haller's journey was an unusual one. Haller took on a wild, high-profile murder case with every episode, but at no point did he let his unorthodox methods of conducting his business out of the back of his car stop him from doing his job. The show stood out because Manuel Garcia Rolfo's charismatic performance as Haller, so much so that Lincoln Lawyer Season 3 was commissioned just days after Season 2 finished. I'm actually surprised that Season 2 finished because he is, in as far as I can tell, the Lincoln Lawyer. I mean, the way that he carries himself, his level of confidence, he's only been kind of mired in something because he let his guard down for a woman. And so I find it a really compelling show to watch. And yeah, mentioning Bosch in this is pretty much, right on target.
Well, and it's by the same author, right. Michael Connelly. But that also explains why this show is so good, right? Yeah. It's on par probably with a show like Bosch.
Yep. And the writing is just so good that unless you have a completely horrible actor as the character lead, you've got copious amounts of material. So it says here that Connelly was already a huge name in detective books and TV shows when The Lincoln Lawyer began because of his success with Bosch, and in fact, it was later revealed that the two characters were half-brothers. Do you remember that?
I think from the books, but I didn't remember that was in any of the shows.
Interesting. So Bosch and Bosch Legacy, 2014 to present. I don't know. Bosch Legacy seems to have, at least for me, kind of meh. But Bosch, it just crushes it. But it's based on the Bosch series from Michael Connelly's novels. Just, you can't say anything bad about Bosch. And I hope that there's the spin-off that isn't Bosch Legacy. Got it. I saw it.
Oh, there is supposed to be a, I think there's going to be a spin-off regarding Edgar, isn't there? Or are we just...
Oh, is it Edgar or is it Honey?
Oh, probably Honey. That probably makes more sense. I think we'd like to see a spin-off focused on Edgar, but...
Yeah, maybe both. I don't know. We're going to have to look around and see. But yeah.
Did you have a spoiler up above?
Is there a spoiler?
Oh, no. I thought there was based on how you reacted to something.
No, there was more underneath the thing. So I thought that they were done because it had the little plate here. But so, yeah, it says we're taken from so many of Connelly's books. For example, Bosch Season 1 used details from novels 3, 8, and 12 of Harry Bosch series, The Concrete Blonde, City of Bones, Echo Park, respectively, but not following the original order of Connelly's series. Bosch kept audiences on their toes because the content doesn't necessarily have to be linear as long as it's all included and doesn't cast off any of the temporality of the show of the books. It may reveal something, but then if they decide to do something later in the season or the the arc of the show, they could pull it again and say, look, we referenced it back there too. It doesn't have to disrupt anything. It's not like they did with Firefly, where they threw stuff out of order and then killed it and moved it and all of that kind of stuff. But I think they've moved it with Bosch Legacy, I think. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Then Rizzoli Isles, 2010 to 2016, based on the Rizzoli Isles by Tess Gerritsen. I haven't watched any of this.
Oh, interesting. Police detective and medical examiner, though. Doesn't that sound like, I don't know, Castle or something like
pretty
that?
Much they're all.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's why they call them procedurals, you know? I mean, crime medical examiner procedural. Because you have to have the medical examiner so that when the police detective runs up against something that they don't know, they have to have the provenance of the medical examiner to say, well, it was done like this and here's the time. So you get like manner and mode of death and or manner and cause of death, and time and any other minutia that might come back from a forensic examination of the victim, which the police can't do. They're too busy out examining the crime scene and doing other things, you know.
So this is interesting. This started as a kind of a standalone that introduced these characters, and then there was a whole series based on it. I mean, a book series.
Oh, it's the other way around too, right? So there was the series, but then it became a show, and then it became more books?
No, a book introduced the characters, and then that spawned a book series, and then that spawned
the TV show.
I think the TV show, which I think that suggests there's some decent material there.
Yeah, some good writing, right? So it says the reason why Rizzoli Isles' characterization was so strong is because the author, Tess Gerritsen, whose novel series is the same name, was the basis for the show. So that's kind of no shit news. But, sorry, I don't know. I'm trying to be
kidding news.
No kidding news, yeah. Midsummer Murders, based on the Chief Inspector Barnaby series. I'm going to have to get moving. I fall down the rabbit hole with these things. The Chief Inspector Barnaby series by Carolyn Graham. Midsummer Murders was a staple in British culture and quickly gained popularity worldwide through streaming services such as Netflix and BritBox, which, by the way, this dynamic really sucks because you watch 2 seasons on Netflix and then you have to subscribe to BritBox.
Exactly.
I mean, it all just sucks.
British detective shows are usually pretty good. I haven't seen this one.
Oh, we need to put this on the list because it started in 1997 and it's still going.
Okay, yes.
and these are the kind of shows that ohmTown citizens like, because you can stick with them for a long time and you can basically binge watch them. And then because we need to create like a master list of all of these ones that are bingeable, that are also current, so that you can chase it right up to the end. And then you get one show after another because we have so many that are now long bingey and have a long tail.
Maybe some Patreon content or something for continuity report.
Yep. And then Grace, based on the Grace series by Peter James. And number 1 is Poirot, from 1989 to 2013, based on the Agatha Christie novel series Poirot. 24 amazing years, they say. Oh, the titular character was already an icon when the show began in 1989, which brought to life one of Agatha Christie's defining figures. What was so impressive about the show, however, was that each of the best episodes of Poirot was adapted from a novel or short story of Christie's. But why is that impressive? I mean, it is impressive, but why? It was already an icon. Okay, whatever. I don't know how this... Whatever. So by the time the show ended in 2013, Poirot's creators had covered the entirety of the character's canon. So they were done.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the point is kind of what we've been saying, right? Like if you have good source material from books, and since each episode, or at least some of the episodes, were an entire Agatha Christie story, I mean, you can imagine those have to be pretty good.
Man, that has to move pretty damn fast to do all of the world building, character development. Wow. So maybe that's another one that we have to put on the list. But like 80s and 90s camera work and coloration and all of that. Oh man, I do not have an urge to sit and watch that. But the stories will be amazing. Okay, moving on. Next article is over in the Continuity Report. 15 actors who were asked back for sequels but refused. So movie sequels have cut main characters from the story when the actor played refused to return for the sequel. Rather than risk a replacement actor failing a major movie franchise, they decided to write the character out. However, sometimes the character is too important to the story and the producers are forced to recast and hope the best. So I'm going to move pretty fast through this one. This is over at screenrant.com, so you'll have to go over and read more on your own. Abigail Stevens is the author of this. The summary is actors refusing to return for sequels can lead to characters being written out, recast, or sequels just failing. Notable recasts in movie sequels include Katie Holmes in The Dark Knight and Rachel Weisz in The Mummy 3. And actors leaving can be due to personal decisions, disputes, script concerns, or not wanting to be part of an unnecessary sequel. So Katie Holmes as Rachel Dawes in did not return for The Dark Knight. So, yeah, they were in The Dark Knight. I'm not sure why. But I've always thought that what's his name is a tool.
The main actor.
Yeah, what's his name? Doggone it. This dude.
I don't know.
Does it say in there? It doesn't even have the person's name.
Hold on just a second.
Yeah. Anyway,
is it Christian Bale?
Yeah, Christian Bale. Kind of a tool. I actually made like a meme spoof thing because he was yelling at a person on the set for obstructing his eye line or something, but it was actually the mole on his nose. Yeah, he acted like a big baby. Anyway, they had made a personal decision at the time to pursue other projects that which he does not regret. So, what else has Katie Holmes done since 2009? I don't know. Anyway, Tammy Stronach as the childlike Empress did not return for the never-ending story 2, the next chapter. They weren't a very elaborate part in this.
It seems like they might have been able to put somebody else in.
Yeah. The second movie movie's dramatically poor reviews prove that Tammy Stronach or her parents made the right decision not to return. Stronach explained that her parents prioritized her having a normal childhood and felt strongly that if she wanted to pursue the path, it should be something that she chose to do as a young person in her 20s. After her ethereal performance as the childlike Empress, Stronach became a dancer instead and now teaches and produces. Keanu Reeves as Jack Traven for Speed 2 Cruise Control. I'm going to move faster through these. Gina Davis as Veronica Quaife in The Fly 2. Yeah. Did anybody return for The Fly 2?
I don't know.
I don't remember Goldblum. I remember Goldblum in The Fly. But yeah, when he became Grundlefly or something like that. It was pretty wild. Scary movie. Bill Murray as Dr. Peter Venkman in Ghostbusters 3, which was never made. Yeah, I think that they basically said, no, we're done. And then the all-woman version of Ghostbusters came out, and it was, well, panned largely, even though I enjoyed it. And then now the new generation of Ghostbusters are out, and I don't think that they rise to the level. Like this latest one, I don't think was Frozen Empire. I don't think was really all that great. I kind of
By the way, it doesn't look like Goldblum came back to Fly 2.
Yeah, got it. Thanks. So Ghostbusters Afterlife, I thought, started doing some pretty cool world building, but then it just accelerated and died. It just stopped. And so didn't really introduce a long story arc of anything other than there is an afterlife, possibly, like i.e. ghosts, and then that was it. It was basically opened and closed, and there's no long-term arc there. And Ghostbusters Frozen Empire as well has the same. There's some exotic embodiment of the afterlife, and once they solved it, it was solved. Like Ghostbusters, it was really, I still remember, like, the end of the Ghostbusters didn't really end the entire world, right? Like, it left it open for a sequel, and then that one left it open for another sequel, but it never was made manifest. So I don't know. I like the original Ghostbusters 2. I like Afterlife and Frozen Empire, but it just seemed like it ended right there. But obviously the people, the new characters still existed, so they were able to create another show, which became Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I don't know. Did you like them?
Well, I think the original is really where it's at. I do think, I forgot which one it was. Afterlife, I thought was okay. I don't know if I've seen Frozen Empire.
Oh, really? Okay. No.
But I think I'm getting the names mixed up.
Okay, well, we can watch it. Okay, and then they go number 10 is Robert Duvall as Tom Hagen in The Godfather Part 3. Crispin Glover as George McFly in Back to the Future Part 2. He didn't return as George.
But is his character even in the movie? I don't remember. He's gotta be.
I mean, I
don't know.
Oh my God, it's been so long I actually forgot. Rachel Weisz as Evelyn Carnahan in The Mummy. Didn't return. Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling for Hannibal, but that was a different storyline. Didn't actually need to. Alan Cumming as Kurt Wagner. Nightcrawler didn't return for X-Men The Last Stand, which is too bad. Will Ferrell as Buddy the Elf in Elf 2. It was never made, though. Number 4, Julie Andrews as Mary Poppins in Mary Poppins Returns in 2018. I don't know how she could have, but okay.
Well, I was going to say there's quite a bit of time gap there.
Yeah, considerable. And let's see. Mary Poppins was
1964? 1965.
1965 was when it was released, and then
I'm
the
not
sequel.
Sure that really counts compared to some of the others.
Come on. Yeah. Marlon Brando as Don Vito Corleone for Godfather Part 2.
I did not know that.
Will Smith as Captain Stephen Hiller in Independence Day Resurgence in 2016. And that was fine. I actually didn't watch that movie, but it would be fine that he didn't show up. Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor.
The original, I think.
Yep. Terminator 3 Rise of the Machines. Sarah Connor. Says no. Let's see. In other interviews, she revealed that when Sarah was a part of the script, she died with no time to mourn her midway through the movie. Furthermore, Hamilton repeatedly stressed that she didn't think that it would be a good idea without James Cameron directing. She was definitely right about that and ended up appearing only in the 3 best Terminator movies, according to Screen Rant. It's pretty bad, man.
Oh.
Rise of the Machines sucked, I guess. Yeah, I don't know what they have as a rating for, or not a rating, but a review. But you can follow these links, and they have reviews and additional commentary. It's a lot of fun to go through Screen Rant. That's why we aggregate their headlines. The next article is over in the Continuity Report. 10 most influential directors of the 90s and their most iconic movies and TV shows. This too is over at Screen Rant. It's by Colette Smith. And honestly, I'm going to just kind of through these because we're already at our time limit. And so cinema. Oh, so the summary of this is independent cinema in the 90s allowed directors to experiment, innovate, and break free from studio constraints. Digital technology and special effects revolutionized filmmaking, broadening the types of stories movies could tell. And directors in the 90s captured societal attitudes and fears, from Gen X angst to paranoia about technology and the looming Y2K problem. I don't think anybody said Gen X in the 90s. I don't think it was a concept to make that statement in the 90s.
I think it was, because wasn't that based on a book?
It may have been, but nobody talked about Gen X in the 90s. I've never heard, I do not recall Gen X being mentioned in the 90s.
Well, your point is well taken, because the book didn't come out until 1991. So it probably didn't catch on until later in the 90s.
Yeah, maybe within an academic circle that was talking about sociology or whatever. But I do not.
I didn't know it was that recent.
Interesting. So they talk about Kevin Smith. Oh, by the way, so again, the most influential directors of the 90s and their most iconic movies. So we'll just rip through it really quick. Kevin Smith and Clerks. Yeah, that's basically something that has stuck with people forever. James Cameron and Titanic. Yep, they're synonymous. Nora Ephron and Sleepless in Seattle. I probably would be able to, like, I know Sleepless in Seattle. I wouldn't remember the director of Sleepless in Seattle. I don't know.
No, you might remember the actors.
Yeah. David Fincher from Fight Club. Again, I would remember Fight Club, and I would have to go, who was the director? Oh, it was David Fincher. And people would go, are you an idiot because you don't remember? Yeah, maybe.
Unless you're a movie file, you don't necessarily pay attention to who the director is, unless they're somebody who's just one of the top in the field.
Yeah, and doing the show, we end up talking about all kinds of entertainment, and so maybe it'll stick more in our heads. But Tsui Hark is Once Upon a Time in China. The Coen brothers for Fargo. Yeah, there's something about a wood chipper that makes you remember the show. David Lynch in Twin Peaks. Robert Rodriguez from Dusk Till Dawn. Great place to visit. Do you know the name of the bar that they were in from Dusk Till Dawn?
No, I don't know anything about that.
We're pretty deep into it's the name of the bar, Titty Twister. Anyway, Spike Jonze being John Malkovich. Quentin Tarantino, Pulp Fiction is number one. What's in the case? Anyway, so have you ever looked into what was in the briefcase?
Do you learn that in the movie?
I don't think so. I don't remember now. Oh well. Moving on. Next article, and our last one for the Continuity Report for August 10th. Disney commits $5 billion to UK and European production over the next 5 years. Disney is set to invest at least $5 billion in production across the UK and continental Europe over the next 5 years, even though Brexit took place, apparently. It's okay to do both. According to Jan Koppen, the company's European chief, Koppen, who oversees Disney's operations in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, expressed optimism about the continued viability of superhero films. I think they're wrong. Naman Ramachandran put the article together for Variety.com. And this is a scene from Wolverine and actually Deadpool and Wolverine is what it's called. Deadpool and Wolverine. So Koppen, who oversees these, says that she has continued optimism for the viability of superhero films. The genre seems to have a lot of life left. He told the Financial Times, I had that wrong. Jan Koppen. That's the name. Jan. He told the
George Jimenez.
Yeah, there you go. So reflecting on the success of Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, I think it's Deadpool that really pulled that one. Anyway, the film produced at the UK's Pinewood Studios has already raked in $903 million globally, setting a new record for R-rated film openings. But again, oh my God, it slipped my mind. I wanted to get the chart and show everybody that $903 million is not the equivalent of what it was just 5 years ago. 10 years ago, it was even less.
Standalone episode about that.
Damn it. Look, folks, prices have doubled, and the number of seats has been reduced by half. So this $903 million is actually because inflation has caused it to be $903 million. So, and artificial scarcity. So that is why it's $903 million. Because everything is so damn expensive now, this is a big deal. But if you were to reverse it, okay, well, half the price, double the seats, see what the engagement is, etc. No, these are all diehard fans that are coming to see this. This isn't just the general public. At least I don't think. So this is where we feel like we're on a roll again with movies, which is fantastic. I've been positive about people going to the movies again and especially enjoying our movies. So they said movies 5 times in 3 sentences. So.
Hey, at least they didn't say titular multiple times.
Titular. Anyway, that's the end of the continuity report. I will get my ducks in a row, and I'll show those charts and do a little breakdown, like not break dance. That's not coming back to the Olympics. Anyway, that's it, folks. I am Mayor Watt. Oh, wait. We always go back. I'm going to turn on the studio lights, and we're going to go back to the continuity reports front page over at ohmTown.com and tell you to have a good night. So I am Mayor Watt, and that is the Sentient AI's visualizer.
No. Good night, ohmTown citizens. Thanks for joining us for Continuity Report.
See you soon, everybody. Time to go get another